Hello everyone, the Panda Photographer here, and welcome back to another Lightroom and Photoshop tutorial video, which is live. And I really do appreciate you guys tuning in today for this video. But I do want to... One second. I do want to say thank you to all the subscribers that have subscribed and supported this channel financially by making a donation. And if you are new to this channel, please, you can make a donation to this channel of what I do as a travel photographer, independent photographer, self-taught photographer, and influencer. But with that said, I do have a website at 646studios.com where you can go check out what I do as a photographer. I have tutorials on portrait photography, videography, and some of the gear reviews I have written or have done on this channel and written on the website. But with that said, everyone, I really do appreciate if you hit the notification button, share the content, let other photographers and videographers know who I am. I am KK Alexander. I'm also known as the Panda Photographer. So with that said, let's get the intro rolling and let's get started. Like I said, guys, if you haven't been to my website is at 646studios.com, where you can check out all the tips and tricks and everything. But just let me know if you guys are interested. But right now, I'm going to show you my processing time. My processing time is going to be, first I'm going to add this photo with Lightroom, then I'm going to render it with Lightroom and import it to Photoshop using Nick Collection. So yesterday's video has no audio whatsoever. I don't know what happened to the audio, can't tell you for sure, but it seems like YouTube is having some difficulties maybe. But with that said, I do want to share some of the gear that I used to shoot this photo. Now this was shot and this photo was shot in Paris, and I shot this with a Sony A77 Mark II, which is a crop sensor camera, which is a SLT A mount. It shoots 12 frames per second. It really has a nice buffer on it, by the way. I used the Lexar 1000X 150 megabit cards for it. I used the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 art lens. I did calibrate it to shoot. I want to show you some of the fine details and the details that come from this lens by far. Now, if you take a good look, you can see all the details coming off this orange autumn leaf, and you can see that it's pretty damn sharp. And this was shot at I believe this was shot at f5.0 and at 26 mil, which was I was supposed to shoot at 24. I might have just moved it just a bit, but yeah, it was shot at 26 mil, and you can see that great bokeh, by the way. This lens has some insane good bokeh, and you can see that it's sharp all the way through. Look at the details. Look how it is casting that shadow off that stem, which is really remarkable. So if you guys are interested in the Sigma 18-35, they make it for the Nikon, they make it for the Canon, they make it for the Pentax. I think they make it for the Pentax. They make it for the Panasonic. They make it for the Sony A mount. But they don't make it for the E mount. So if you are having an E mount, you're gonna have to buy the Canon version. Then you're gonna buy the MC11 adapter, or you can buy the Sony adapter and buy the A mount version. But most people will buy the MC11 adapter. It's based on taste, but anyway, I want to just get to some of this editing processing. And as I said, guys, if you are new here, please, if you get in the middle of this video, please take the time out to subscribe and hit the notification button. And if you do want to support this channel financially, there's a PayPal link down in the description below. I do have a Patreon. I'm still working the Patreon page up, so it's up, but I haven't really come to some conclusions on how I want to actually give back to those that have supported this channel, supported my work as a self-taught photographer. Now, I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, off and on. I did sports photography at first, so I was aggressive inline rollerblader and a snowboarder, so I did sports photography at first. Then I got into, like, well, technically I got into taking street photography when I was a kid, when I was 12, but I won't say that is actually my start. My start is probably what I say 14, where I started doing sports, inline aggressive rollerblading and snowboarding. But with that said, let's get to the process and time. So right now I am going to select the color camera's standard color, because I like the colors on the Sony A mount. And take it from me, as a Sony user that's been shooting with A mount for quite some time, especially from the Minolta line all the way down to Nikon, the Canon, back to Sony, back to Nikon, back to Sony, I have to say that the A mount's color science is much better than the E mount. And you can see right now, as you saw, the big jump. So let's go back and do that again. You see that? That is Adobe's color science, right? And here's the A mount's color science. You see the big difference there? Totally big difference. Now, I can duplicate this shot because I know what I believe I know where I took the shot, and I can say this for sure. If I was to do this with the E mount, it would be much cooler, but this is much warmer to me. So if you guys are wondering about the A mount versus E mount color science, A mount was originally intended for the photographer in mind. It's A mount is what helped E mount grow. So without A mount, there won't be E mount. But I'm not pulling a plug with Sony. I don't care. I'm not a fanboy of Sony. I used to get that works for me. Simple as that. You give me a Canon camera, I can work with it. Give me a Nikon camera, I will work with it. But just wanted to show you guys that maybe sometimes you need to maybe select the camera standard colors instead of the Adobe color science, so you can see from the difference that it works pretty well. So what I am going to do is slightly pick a preset and make some adjustments that way. So I want something more. I like this light HDR actually. I don't want too much of a stretch, because if I remember, I saw some green in this one, so I'm gonna go with this one. And I just want to emphasize something really fast. Look at the stems on this leaf, this orangey red fire leaf. You can see the shadow coming off that stem. That is an amazing lens. When you get a lens that can actually duplicate what you have seen in real life, and it does the job well, Sigma 1835 is probably the best crop sensor lens for a crop sensor camera. Can you use it for a full frame? Yes, if you shoot in video. If you shoot with a Sony A7S or A7S Mark II, or yes, it crops down to Super 35, you can shoot with it and get great diamond range with it and great image quality. But other than that, you can shoot it at 35 if you choose to, but I wouldn't recommend it. That's all I'm saying. I did it before. I did a test. I have a video about shooting with it. It was not really to me, it was a fun video. It was not something to be serious about. It was just a fun video, just test it. But I will link it somewhere in the cards here. But look at that. That's amazing. Look at the bokeh. And you can see there's minimal noise. Now, the crop sensor A77 Mark II is a phenomenal lens, but I am going to make some adjustments here. I feel like I can bring this down a little bit. I want to bring the shadows down just a bit. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That looks really good. Now I do want to fix the reds. I feel like it's too orangey. That looks perfect. That looks good. Alright, now I am going to make sure I can see the chat and the comments at the same time. Just checking my work. I'm always checking my work, making sure that I see what I want to see. And I might have to bring the reds back. And what I would do is, okay, so this is what I'm going to do next. So now since I got everything set to cover aberrations, okay, now I am going to apply sharpness. Actually, let me do that in a few seconds. First, let me fix the color adjustment. So I am on Lumens. Inside the Lumens, I am fixing the color adjustments, as you can see it. Actually, let me move this up a little bit. So I did, just to let you guys know, I did set my camera. You can see that I'm shooting with the Sigma 18-35. Alright, I'm shooting with the 18-35 Sigma art lens. And you can see, not sure you guys can see that I did switch the camera's calibration to camera standard color science, because I see my face blocking that view. I'm really apologize about that. And I'm just gonna fix the reds just a bit. Alright, I want to bring some yellows in that. There we go. That looks fine. Alright, now that looks a little better. Now what I'm going to do next is basically, I'm going to do color pop with here we are, and then I'm going to bring down the yellows just a bit. The orange just a bit. And then I'm gonna fix the saturation. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to here we are, fix the yellows just a bit. So in this process, I am fixing the yellows and making sure that this is my main subject here. This one leaf is my subject for a reason, and it stuck out like a sore thumb, and it was calling my name that did. But I just want to make sure that there's some good detail. Now when it comes to sharpness, I am going to fix the sharpness. So I'm going to apply about 25% sharpness, and I'm going to go back by 0.9. So the radius is 0.9. When I go up, say I go 50, I go up by 1.0. And the details, I'm going to leave it at 28. Now I'm going to press the alternate key and make sure that I see the detail right there. Okay, that looks good. Do 3:1. But I'm gonna bring some. I'm gonna soften the background just a bit. Just a bit. Soften the background a little bit. Alright. Out. Exceptionally sharp. Good. Now I'm gonna go up here to make sure that contrast levels look great. Blacks look nice. I'm gonna bump down the clarity just a bit and hit the vibrance just 12%. There we are. Now, since I am almost done with this image in Lightroom, my next steps are going to be making sure I got all my adjustment levels correctly. Okay, I got all my adjustment levels correctly, and my next step is to make sure to go back into the library for 1 second and make sure I choose my metadata, my copyright, and go back, and I'm gonna right click and edit in Photoshop CC 2018. Now when it prompts me to this screen, it's gonna say this version of Lightroom may require the Photoshop Camera Raw plugin version 10.1 for full capabilities. So I'm gonna click render using Lightroom. You have to click render using Lightroom. It's gonna render the file, then it's gonna import it to Photoshop, and Photoshop should pop up on my screen after it's done rendering. I don't have the fastest computer in the world, but I'm trying to save up money to add the month. If you guys want to help me with that, please do hit that PayPal donation button. It really helps me out. So now Photoshop is actually starting up and booting up. Give it a few seconds or a minute. Now I'm going to be using Nick collections with Photoshop to do some polishing. This is where I did the editing already. Now I'm going to polish this image. We're using Photoshop. So give it a moment to boot. No, that was not soda. San Pedro. Okay, so now we are in Lightroom, and where is my photo Nick? There we are. So now we are in Photoshop. Everything is booted up. Now I'm going to choose fine structure. Just going to polish some things, and then I'm going to actually do a little trick to this photograph by polishing up. So what I'm going to do is take the brush really quickly here. Just polish this up a little bit. Alright. And the next step I'm going to do now, since I add some fine structure, is I'm going to apply it, and then the background I'm going to actually do a little bit of more, blur the background out a little more, give it a little bit more separation, let the background filter generate and do the progress. And now I'm just going to brush over just a little bit, not too much. Yeah, so when you do this feature with this technique, you can blur the background out a little bit more. Alright, we are getting somewhere. I'm not sure you can see the transformation, but I can see the transformation pretty well. There's a reason why I'm not trying to hit the leaves as much, because really the leaves are in focus. The main focus leaf is the big giant leaf which is in the center of the frame. Now I did fill the frame. I'm not going to crop it. I feel like it's perfect the way it is. Why does this keep coming up again? Now I am going to use some of my Color Flux Pros to see what options that I have. Excuse me. See what kind of options do I have when using the Color Flux Pro. Now it's going to be loading the image and processing it and see what it comes up with. So this is Link Collection. Now when you download Link Collection, make sure that in the process, take your time. Don't click next. No, that's your big mistake. Click next, read the information, select the software that you want the Link Collection to actually be Link Collection to work with. If you want to make it work with a Capture One, you want to make it work with Capture One. You want it to work with Lightroom and Photoshop, you can do that. But we're gonna do natured. Color cast range. Look at all these unique color cast range. Oh, that's a lot of red. Yellow and green. Let's do this one. And let's bring back the highlighter. Okay, brightness. Let's bring that in. And then I'm going to select VBOT 2. Do a little bit of polishing really quickly to it. Alright, and that looks very good. Looks excellent. Alright. Let that seep in. As I said, just polishing up in Photoshop. Go back into PhotoFlux one more time. I do like this with Manita color cast. I'm moving the color cast, so I think I'm gonna go with this one because that day was a very sunny, bright, sunny, golden hour, and the leaves were just shining like this orange, red, beautiful color. The autumn was singing to me that day. So let's go with the green. No, that looks more realistic to me. Yellow. No, that looks more washed out. And we are pretty much done here. Now, if you guys notice that when you use Nik Collections and Photoshop, here it is. It's right here at your disposal. You can see the layers that I have done. You can see where I did the bokeh in the background and it blurred the background out a little bit, but out a little bit more. But I do want to say this is how I am going to save the file as. So when I'm actually saving the file, now I do it two ways. I do a high res file and a low res file. So go to JPEG. So this one is going to be 100%, and you can see that I didn't crop it. It's 4,000 by 600. Either way, it's still no crop. I am going to select the copyright and contact information metadata that I attached from Lightroom. I'm going to export it out, and if I can remember where I put this file, I'm going to go back into my folders, and where did I put this? Where's my Paris? I do not have one. Okay, gotta put it in a Paris folder. I guess I never actually took the time to add that photo, which I did sort of, and oops. Okay. Oh, I do have one. So high, low. I'm gonna do high first. Save it as autumn. Oops. Autumn fire. Do it again, and just to let you guys know, I am using SSD, so it ran into the SSDs really quickly. Now I'm going to choose low res for social media, so 2048, which gives me my width at 3065. It's transforming the lens, the image, and making it much smaller. It may seem small, but go back into folder, Paris, autumn fire, and ta-da! That's it, everyone. I'm done. So this is my process, and this is what I do, but sometimes it depends on the photos. Some of the photos may be intensively, may be longer than others may be quite different, like landscapes or time lapses. So normally I would do my time lapse videos this way, and I never would have done it this way. I mean, I normally do my time lapses this way, but I normally do not process my other photos this way. So what I'm going to start doing now is processing all my photos this way, and not always do everything directly into Lightroom. Now, as you saw, I did everything in Lightroom, the editing, the touching up and everything, but as I said, there's minimum things I needed to do with crop aberrations, because I calibrated the lens. It's a good Sigma 1835. I'm not doing a plug with Sigma, but Sigma, if you're listening, I really like your lenses. So same yank, I really like their lenses for a mount. But anyways, with that said, everyone, if you do like the content, please do subscribe, do hit the notification button, do share the content. It really helps me grow. If you guys want to follow me on social medias, you can do that at the social media links down in the description below, and the descriptions. And if you do want to support this channel, please, there's a PayPal donation link down in the description below. It really helps me as a photographer and freelance photographer and self-taught photographer and travel photographer as we speak. But with that said, eat, sleep, photography, repeat, everyone, And you guys have a good Tuesday, and I see you guys in the next live. Peace.